All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with one more draft recap as the draft has concluded for the 49ers. They have picked twice in the seventh round. One pick I really love. The other pick I think is mystifying. We'll get into both of them in just a second. First, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corners, Sports Cards, and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. So if you're down in Monterey and you need some sports cards or some collectibles, go see my man, Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. Good Niner fan. He's excited for the draft, and I think a lot of people were excited for the draft. We'll get into a full draft recap later on tonight, but the Niners have picked two more times in the seventh round to finish out their draft. One of the picks I think is a spectacular pick, and that's Connor Colby. The Niners drafted Connor Colby, who's a zone blocker from Iowa. I think Iowa's team is some of those players are some of the best coached players in all of college football. This guy was a freshman All-American who played right guard, 54 career games in college, 50 career starts for Connor Colby. I just really think that this is a guy who's going to wind up starting at left guard for the 49ers right away. And I think this is going to be a fantastic pick. I think this, when you look back at this pick, I think you're going to go, oh my goodness, that was really nice. This is a good football player. All right. This guy's a nasty, aggressive, mean, run-blocking menace who played in the Big Ten at one of the best programs. Freshman All-American in 2021. He started 11 games as a freshman at right guard. And then he played 7 starts at left guard and 6 starts at right tackle in 2022, starting all 13 games. Then in 2023, he started 13 of 14 games, all at right guard, third team All Big Ten. Then in this last year, he started all 13 games at right guard, first team All Big Ten. So very experienced player, 6'5", 310 pounds, 10-inch hands, 32-inch arms, 77 and an eighth-inch wingspan. Excuse me, 294 on the 10-yard split, on the 10-yard shuttle, I should say, 177 for the 10-yard split, 28 and a half on the vertical, which isn't anything anything great. Didn't bench at the combine, did bench at the pro day, 23 reps, which is a good number. Good number. So this guy grew up down the road from Iowa's campus. He was a big Iowa fan, standout athlete. He grew up. He was a standout athlete, moved to the offensive line. And he was first team All-State as a junior in high school. As a senior in high school, he went to Kennedy High School. Played mostly right tackle and guard, 4-star recruit out of high school. So this guy was a highly recruited guy, and he could have gone anywhere. He had offers from Michigan, Ohio State, other schools, and said he had grown up a diehard Hawkeyes fan. So he immediately said, you know what, I'm going to play for Iowa. And he started almost immediately at Iowa, finished with 50 career starts, mostly at guard, and just, mean, aggressive run blocker. And a really good one at that. Now he's not a perfect player. He's not perfect for every scheme, but he does have a lot of experience. He's quick into his blocks. He loves to finish people. He's a nasty run blocker, and, they list him as a potential backup in a zone blocking scheme, but I think there's a decent chance. I mean, the Iowa guys are so well coached. I think there's a decent chance that if it's him against Ben Barch, he's got a decent chance to potentially beat out Barch and become the starter. And it would be nice to have a young left guard who's a real aggressive run blocking menace, especially when you added Pooney last year in round 3. So I like this one. Connor Colby's really athletic. I did a breakdown. I did a video about a month ago about the 49ers last year in the draft. They drafted Pooney. and Kingston, and then they signed Drake Nugent and Bryson Mays after the draft. And what all four of those guys had in common is they all had really good, movement numbers in the short shuttle. And I think maybe Lombardi or somebody wrote an article about how, hey, the Niners really value that short shuttle when they're evaluating their offensive linemen. And so when I went and looked at who did really well in those short shuttle numbers, Connor Colby was one of the guys that came up. And the fact that he's a Iowa coach guy, Big Ten, first team all Big Ten, blocked, for a real strong, well-coached team. He's only 22, 6'5", 310. Going from the Big Ten into the NFL, I like that. I really like that. And I think there's some of the best coaches on the offensive line are in the Big Ten. So to me, Connor Colby is really interesting. I would not be surprised at all if Connor Colby wound up starting at left guard. Not because the Niners just don't have anybody. They have other options there for sure. But I do think this guy's a very polished player who did nothing but start at Iowa. And, the Niners could absolutely use a veteran, a young body, but a well-coached, young, aggressive run blocking. When I saw a mean, aggressive run blocker as part of Brugler's scouting report, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what they need. That's what they need. So love that pick. Then the 49ers, though, finished with a mysterious pick. And that's really all I could really say about it. It just seems like a mysterious pick to me. Maybe maybe you guys know more about him than I do, but it just seems strange. They went with a return guy. So they go with Connor Colby at 249, and then at 252, they go with a return man. To me, that's interesting. He's a definite interesting return guy, but when I looked at his numbers and how he did as a returner, he had a lot of success, but he's not really a burner per se. It's not like he's a guy that just takes the top off the defense. He's so unbelievably fast. He doesn't seem like he's a real fast return guy. He's just really skilled at it. He's been really good as a return man. So I don't know. I think that's getting a little cute, to be completely honest. You have Jacob Cowing. That to me seems like a luxury item. Junior Bergen out of Montana, they took with pick number 252. 6 picks before the end of the draft. Junior Bergen, versatile offensive target, according to ESPN, who moved from running back to wide receiver in 2021. He rushed for 493 yards in 2021, and he turns into a running back after the catch. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Don't know much about Junior Bergen. And now we step into the undrafted market. Now the 49ers get into this undrafted period where they will, undoubtedly sign a bunch of undrafted free agents. And, I would think because the 49ers have so many needs and they gutted their roster in free agency that they're probably going to have their pick of a number of the top undrafted guys, because undrafted guys want two things. They want money and opportunity. I think the Niners have potentially could offer both here. They haven't spent a lot of money, so they should have plenty of money to spend, and they have plenty of opportunity. And because of all the players that have walked out the door. So like Chandler Martin and Eugene Asante, 2 linebackers I absolutely love. Neither of them got drafted. Both those guys could wind up being undrafted, undrafted free agents. And we'll see, in the next couple hours who lands who and what kind of post-draft haul the 49ers can come away with. But Junior Bergen in round 7 from Montana, and, interesting guy for sure. The fact that they went with a return guy just seems so like, really? There wasn't any offensive lineman. You could have Willie Lampkin. You didn't want him. There's no offensive lineman, no tight end. Jalen Conyers. You didn't want Jalen Conyers. It'll be interesting to see if the Niners can get a couple of these guys as undrafted players. But yeah, very, very. I love the Iowa guard at the end, but the return man at the very end seems, I don't know. It seems just like a real luxury item. Now, obviously, if he's a dominating return man, that could have a huge impact on your football team. So I'll hold off critiquing it. But it just seems like, man, you got so many other needs. You're really going to go for a return guy, but sure enough, they went for a return guy, and we'll find out exactly how that benefits them. Or what he looks like. This we're not really going to find out until this springtime, or really this summer, maybe even some would say middle of the fall, before we're actually going to find out how good some of these players are. The one thing that I won't do is I won't do tons of grades on these drafts, because it's just so, I just don't think it's something that, um, one, I haven't seen all the players. It's like, to me, it seems, to me, that might be the most absurd thing of all, is the grades, 24 hours. Now, we'll try to do a video recapping the draft, but as far as I'll give this team an A, I'll give this team a B, I mean, that's really hard. I mean, I'd be interested if a pro personnel director, said, hey, you know what? We're keeping track. Okay. Every player, you have a pretty good sense of the thing, but just, random people following along. It's hard to say really, who's going to be available after the draft, but we will follow it. And it's not like it's not significant. The 49ers, Kevin Givens, undrafted free agent. You just look at the list of players that are available right now. There's a slew of really good football players that are out there that are still available. And there'll be a number of undrafted free agents that make NFL rosters. All right, let's see what Kev has to say about the final two picks on day 3 of the draft. Kev, what'd you think? Connor Colby is a 49er, and the latest is Junior Bergen, wide receiver, running back, return man, Montana. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I saw a little bit of Connor Colby watching Caleb Johnson. And the reason why I was watching Caleb Johnson is obviously he's one of the top backs in this class, but one of the reasons why I was watching him pretty closely is because Iowa's, run game mimics, a Kyle Shanahan run game. It's the zone run scheme. It's very similar to the 49ers run scheme. Now, obviously Caleb Johnson didn't come to the 49ers, but Connor Colby excels in exactly what they do in the run game. Now, he isn't a perfect passer, and I'll get into some of the stats, but just from an overview, as a runner, I think he fits, or a run blocker, he fits really well into this team. He has a 77.3 run blocking grade per PFF, a 66.9 pass blocking grade. He allowed 2 sacks, 6 hurries, 10 pressures, and had 1 penalty this year. Some of his measurables: he's 6'5" 3/4", which is 71st percentile. 309 pounds, which is 41st percentile. Has shorter arms, 32-inch arms. That's 7th percentile. But this is where some of the, zone running scheme comes into it. He had a 5'11" 40-yard dash, which is 79th percentile. He had a 110 broad jump, 110-inch broad jump, with his 84th percentile, and his 20-yard shuttle was 71st percentile. 743 snaps, 427 of them were run blocking. Some of the stable metrics, he graded out 77th percentile and negatively graded run plays, meaning he had very few negatively graded run plays. Some of the other stable metrics per PFF, he was much worse, like pass blocking grade on true pass sets, 0th percentile, 0. So that means that's not very good.
But there could be some improvement needed there. That you might want to upgrade the 0 percentile. Yeah, we could probably look to upgrade that.
Yeah, let's add a couple more digits to that.
I'm not 100% pleased with the 0 upgrade.
Or the last 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons, 2024 and 2023, he played 100% of his snaps at right guard. In 2022, he played 339 snaps at right tackle and 348 at left guard. So he split his time at left guard and right tackle in 2022. And
watch this guy though. These Iowa offensive linemen are usually damn good. They're well coached. This guy started 50 games in the Big Ten for the Hawkeyes. I think he's going to give Ben Barch all he wants and then some at left guard in that battle. I'll say it right now. I bet you Connor Colby winds up starting over Ben Barch.
he had
I know that's crazy, 7th round pick, but still.
That's a take. That's definitely a hot take. That's a hot take.
It's a hot take. It's hot. It's hot. It's popping.
He had 179 outside zone run snaps, which was second in the class. So this guy is very experienced in the zone, in the run zone, or the zone run scheme. Overall, right. At this point in the draft, like I'm down for it, man. Like they're taking players that they're taking defensive linemen and hoping that they can develop them as pass rushers. They're taking this offensive lineman and they're saying, let's hopefully develop him as a pass defender or a pass blocker. But let's use him in the run game because this guy excelled at that, and he excelled at it in the way that the 49ers like to do it. So I'm all for it. Now, Junior Bergen is a very interesting prospect. Didn't watch a ton of him, but just hearing about him, 5'11", 100.
Who did? Did anybody watch a ton of Junior Bergen? Has anybody even have you heard anybody at any point reference on any video, any path to the draft, any draft show? Have you heard the name Junior Bergen ever?
Me personally, no.
Yes,
but it's possible. It's possible.
I'm looking at the Niner list. Maybe the Niners met with him.
His receiving stats for 2024, he played 13 games, had 542 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 11.3 yards per catch, 1.70 yards per route run. His punt return stats is what's really interesting. He had 10 returns, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 17.5 yards per return, which is really good.
The Niners did have a private or semi-private workout with Junior Bergen. There you go. It was reported by Skyline Sports. Niners had a private or semi-private workout with Junior Bergen. Maybe this is the new special teams coach saying, "Hey, man, give me my return guy. I need a return guy."
Let's talk about it for a sec because the Niners had a couple problems going into this draft. They didn't stop the run last year. They added a bunch of run defenders. They were very slow, especially from the wide receiver position. They added a very fast wide receiver. Now, Junior Bergen, I didn't look at it. I don't know what he ran at the combine, but at least Watkins is a very, very fast receiver. They also struggled in special teams. And this is a special teams player right here. And some of those guys they drafted later in the rounds, I think those guys are special teamers as well. So,
but they signed free agents to address special teams. They needed to, I'm looking at their draft here, and it's like, okay, so what did they get? They got a starting edge rusher. They got a starting in Mikael Williams. They got a starting defensive tackle in Alfred Collins if he's healthy. I think you got the starter opposite. You got Greenlaw's replacement, Nick Martin. I think you probably get your third corner in Upton Stout. Okay, so I think you got a starter for sure in CJ West. Watkins is going to play off the bench, but I like him a lot. Jordan James, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Jordan James. Siegel's got the potential to start. He's got the athleticism, but that's a real risk that's a real reach on traits. And then Rourke, I don't get it. Colby, I think, can start. Bergen, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't really. You want a return guy? Who was their returner last year?
Cowling sometimes it was
so is
Taylor,
he not,
or wasn't it?
What they still have those guys. So
Pearsall, I don't know.
That's an odd one though. The super polished Montana return guy who doesn't have a great 40 time is a little perplexing.
What was his 40?
I think his 40 was more like 4.5.
4.52. Yeah. 4.52.
Yeah, 4.52. 4.52 40. And he's a return guy.
Would have ranked 30th among the combine receivers.
As far as 40?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's a little, that's a little perplexing. So right now we're just kind of waiting on to see if there is a free agent, because they will have some free agent announcements here probably coming up in a short amount of
Now,
time.
yeah, I mean, we'll get into this more tonight because we're going to do another
Yeah.
show, and this is just kind of wrapping up. But I do think that they went into this draft and with the mindset of let's fill very specific needs that we have. We want a player that does this. We want a player that does that. We like players that do this. We like players to do that. And that's why you saw a lot of players that were probably, not mocked in the rounds that they were mocked in, or they actually got drafted by the 49ers, because they obviously have a very specific players that they're looking for. And that's how they drafted. Now, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. We'll have to see. But a lot of these picks are very unique, I think. At least coming from last year. Last year, it felt like, oh, yeah, you got Isaac Guerrero. That's a really fast running back that we all really like. We like the testing. We all know him. Like Malik Mustafa, that's a guy that we've all loved. There wasn't a lot of these picks where it's like, oh, wow, okay, they went that guy now. Like, it felt a little, there was a lot of reaches. But again, I'm not a subscriber to if wherever they are in the big board means they're going to be that good. So time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say this. Like when people ask me, "Hey, do you like a player?" That's why I'll be like, "Yeah, I like him." But I mean, it's like I mean, I like him in the first half of the first round, but it doesn't mean I don't like him. I mean, there's a lot of players that I still like that are out there right now. I wouldn't have liked any of them to go in the first round. So it's all you gotta, it's a matter of degree to how much do you like them. As far as did the Niners fill some needs, I think they did. I mean, they had a lot of needs on the defensive line. And I think they definitely filled at least two needs at both edge and defensive tackle. I'll say between Mikael Williams and Collins and CJ West, they filled two needs, let's say, edge and defensive tackle with those three guys. I think they filled a good need with Nick Martin. I'm a bigger fan of Nick Martin than Dieter and Jake for sure. I think they filled a need at corner with Upton Stout in a player they really like. I think they filled a real need by getting a receiver that has vertical speed. That gives them an element they didn't have. I thought they filled a need by getting themselves another, starting caliber running back. And I'd love to see if they could add another in this undrafted market because it's that deep of a market. They gambled on the safety, but they went with a guy who's a converted corner who has 4.37 speed. So in some ways that could be a really intriguing move. Rourke to me is baffling, but we'll see.
He's probably a slot. He played a lot of snaps at slot. Siegel.
And maybe that's a good slot corner. I mean that's gonna be he's gonna be an interesting guy to watch. I love Connor Colby, and then I'm not sure about the quarterback or the return guy.
Here, I have the Our Lads up. I'm not sure if you can see the screen, but we got Our Lads up with some crazy ASICS ads on the bottom. But just looking at the depth chart now after the draft, they have Watkins kind of slotted in as the second receiver, which is pretty exciting because Demarcus Robinson, I'm not sure if we know, but he's for sure going to be suspended some amount of time. Brandon Ayuk obviously injured, so it's Ricky Pearsall, Jordan Watkins, and then you got Russell Gage, Trent Taylor, Isaiah Hodgins, Tariq Owens. So, I'm missing obviously Juwan Jennings, Jacob Cowling, and now Junior Bergen. But interesting three receivers there. Jordan Watkins potentially could be starting in some formations day one. You're muted.
Yeah, the one offensive lineman. We'll see if they get another offensive lineman or two after the draft.
They're slotting behind Spencer Burford, but I'd say if you put him at left guard, you might be in competition with Ben Barch. Rourke is now QB3 to Mac
We have our
Jones.
first undrafted signing. It looks like the Niners are signing running back Corey Kiner.
Oh, okay.
Corey Kiner from Cincinnati. So that's actually a pretty good little back. He's actually not even a small back. He's actually kind of a good size back. Corey Kiner's 5'9", about 210, 215.
If I remember right, I don't think he's that athletic, but I because I watched him before the draft. Let me see.
He's transferred from LSU. He started at LSU and transferred to Cincinnati. He was former Ohio Mr. Football, so he's obviously a pretty good player. Had a very productive player named Mr. Football in the state of Ohio in December of 2020.
Yeah, he has good vision. Good at making people miss, but yeah, he was Mr. Ohio. I had that in my notes too. But yeah, lacks athleticism. He ran a 4.57 40-yard dash.
The scouting report says he's a yes sir, no sir person. Very polite and down to earth, but extremely focused and determined. Yes, sir. No, sir. I met a guy. I like that. I like a yes sir, no sir, serious. You know,
He's not a yes man, no or
he's
what?
not a yes man, but he's a yes sir. That Corey Kiner. There you go.
Looking at the defense.
That's a good name though.
The defensive depth, though, real quick, they have 3 starters on our lads. Obviously, it's just our lads, but they have Alfred Collins, Mikael Williams, and Upton Stout starting on this defense, which makes sense to me. But
well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's how barren things are. That's why this draft was so crucial. That's why drafting a quarterback and a return man in the last round, when there's probably other defensive linemen out there, is probably pretty questionable. But we'll see what happens here in the undrafted market. Because as I said, you know, the draft is a weird thing. It's like you have round 1, and then you have day 2. And then you have like this run on guys in the early part of day 3. Once you get to the second half of day 3, a lot of the same guys that are going to go from like the 5th round to the end are no different than the guys who are going to be signed after the draft. They're really all in the same category. So an undrafted free agent could be the equivalent of a 5th round pick. We've seen it. We've seen it in San Francisco. So that's why people would say to me sometimes back in the day, oh, only the first round really matters. And I'm like, well, not only is that not true, but it's really not even the draft that matters. It's even after the draft where that's the stuff that really does matter, because there's a large percentage of players that will round out your football team, and if you can find some good players in that that next group there, you can really improve your team. So well, that's Kev. Oh, let's hit some supers as well. We got 12 supers here we haven't got to. Grant says Jay Gruden on Middlecoff liked Rourke over Shador. Yeah, I like Rourke over Shador as well. I don't think Shador's an NFL quarterback. I really don't. And I think Rourke is a pocket passer with a good arm. But I don't like Rourke, but I think he's a better quarterback prospect than Shador. Grant says Chiefs drafted every player I mocked to the Niners. That always sucks. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the draft. The Kansas City, I thought it's like I'll take a peek at what they did, because they did. I noticed halfway through the draft, they had gotten a bunch of good players. So they got Josh Simmons at 32, which is incredible value.
Which could be an incredible steal for them, because this guy has the
Top
athleticism
5
to be the best tackle in the entire draft. He just has a blown out knee, and if that's just a blip in the radar in terms of what he ends up being, like, amazing value for them.
Look at the rest of it though. Omar Norman-Lott, Ashton Gelati, who I was saying the other day, I love Ashton Gelati, defensive end. Noel Williams, one of the most aggressive corners you're going to find. Jalen Royals, Jeffrey Bossa.
I promise you, Jalen Royals on the Chiefs, like, if he gets playing time, like, I think he'll be very good.
That's almost a perfect draft. They went 7 for 7 there, I bet. They're going to get 7 good players out of this draft, and that's if they don't sign anybody. Yeah, Kansas City, nice draft for sure. MSQ, how do you feel about Trent, Colby, Jake, Pooney, and Colton McKivitz? Yeah. I think it's probably going to be, that's probably what it's going to be. And now you guys know I'm not a big Jake fan at center, but the Niners have spoken loudly that they like Jake. Review Scientology USA. When does UDFA start? Sign Kobe Bryant. Sign Jared Ivey. Yeah, Jared Ivey would be fantastic.
This is Connor Colby's RAS. So like you can see here, like, very athletic guard. very, very athletic. And I think that's what they saw in him. You know, he does exactly what they do in the run game. It's just, what is he going to be as a pass protector at the next level?
I just love it because, one, you're talking about Big Ten, and you're going to ask a guy to step possibly into the lineup and play, and he's made 50 starts in the Big Ten at Iowa. It's a good place to start, man. It's a good place to start. Grant, who actually makes our picks, Kyle or Lynch? It's a great question. I'll say for sure I know it's not me. I think it could be Kev. No, I'm not really sure. I would say it's probably Lynch and Shanahan together with the scouts. They try to, as Lynch said the other day, they try to build consensus. MSQ says
it's Lynch and Shanahan with the scouts, and then they have Jed running their PR and marketing to shout out the picks a couple minutes before they happen. That's how the team works in there.
It's like Jed was in a silly mood, huh?
I know. Jed was in a silly mood. Absolutely silent on Twitter for years, and then it's like, you know what? I'm gonna leak all of our picks, like where we're gonna go with all these picks, a few minutes before we happen. Not just enough time where it won't really matter, but just to get people excited. I'm gonna get people excited on Twitter. Like, fuck it, I'm feeling it today. I'm a billionaire. Like, why not?
Seriously, why not? I'd be doing that too. MSQ. Warriors go tonight, by the way. Jimmy Butler's out for game 3. Can you get me the Rockets? Let me take the Rockets, Kev. I'll take the Rockets on the money line tonight. All right. MSQ, out of all the picks, who and who won't start day one? Out of all the picks, who and who won't start day one? What do you make of this one? Who and who?
Who won't start day one? I would say like
Curtis Rourke.
For sure, Curtis Rourke. Marquise Siegel, I think, is going to be in a battle and probably will lose. I would also guess that there's probably a solid chance that CJ West just starts off as a rotational player and doesn't start day one. Jordan James obviously is not going to start day one. I don't think Connor Colby will start day one, but I think that he could be very quickly integrated into that offensive line as soon as there's an injury or if someone starts playing bad. And I think, Junior Bergen for sure is not going to start day one.
Well, no, actually, I think he's a guy that if he made the team.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. As a
he might start.
I'm thinking of as a wide receiver, but
yeah, he might start. I would say the guys who are not going to start, the guys who potentially could start day one would be Junior Bergen, Connor Colby, Marquise Siegel, CJ West, Upton Stout, Nick Martin, Alfred Collins, and Mikael Williams. Those are the guys that potentially could start. I think the guys that for sure won't start would be Rourke, Jordan James, Jordan Watkins. Those guys almost assuredly will not start.
I feel like Jordan Watkins will start.
You think he's going to start? Really?
Well, who are the three receivers?
I guess their receivers are Ayuk, Pearsall, and Jennings. If you take Ayuk out, then it's Pearsall, Jennings, and DeMarcus. If you take DeMarcus out, then it's Pearsall, Jennings, and either
Watkins or
Hodgins, Watkins, Cowing, Tariq Owens. I'll say this: do not sleep on Isaiah Hodgins. I think Isaiah Hodgins makes the team. Big receiver, great hands.
Just a little slow.
He's a little slow, but he's got good hands. He's a good red zone option, I think. Yeah. Okay. Let's hit another one of these. Let's see. We got that one. We haven't hit this one. Boxing fan ×4. Any plans for UDFA mock draft or players 49ers missed on? We will not be doing a UDFA mock draft, will we, Kev?
No. I don't know how that would even work. How would that even work? I take this player and this player.
By the way, I did do one of the mock drafts last night, and it was the most fun mock draft ever because Pro Football Network basically, obviously gave you all the players the Niners took on the first 2 days of the draft. So you had like, your picks, and then you still had that third round mock, and it was kind of fun because it was a little bit more real because the actual picks are your actual picks. Joshua Swan in the house. Kruger. Yes, Joshua Swan. Swan. I watched Junior the past 4 years here in Montana. He was a great returner and a receiver. Dude, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying it's just interesting that, a return guy, considering they have so many needs. No,
Well,
I hope he is good. I'll say this too. I mean, just looking at the picture of the guy's pretty ripped. That's for sure. But though I was hoping he'd run in the 4.2s or 4.3s, but maybe he just has a knack. I mean, if the guy winds up being a good return guy, it's a good addition. I mean, it's as simple as that. And being a good return guy is partly about home run speed, but it's not entirely about home run speed. Xavier Restrepo is signing with the Titans.
At least the Niners aren't like the Patriots, who are a complete rebuild team. Need tons of players, and they went punter and then long snapper.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's
so
overthinking.
They went kicker, then long snapper, because they got Andres Borregales, and then they, in the 7th round, drafted a long snapper.
That's overthinking
ridiculous. Yeah.
That's definitely overthinking it. That's like, hey, we're smarter than everybody else. No, you're not. Grant in the house says, Kevin, would you have liked Kenneth Grant and Oladejo better than Michael and Simmons? Simmons? Who's Simmons?
Like, I don't know who Simmons is. Does he mean Collins?
Maybe he means Collins.
I like Oladejo as I like his pause. I like his body. I like what he has in terms of, he has NFL size and length, and that's what you want, the edge rusher position. You want a guy who has the length, who has the speed, he just wasn't on tape. He just wasn't consistently good and consistently dominant. So I wasn't on the hype train of Oladejo, get him in the 2nd round. I do like him as a player, and I like Kenneth Grant as well. I would rather have Mikel at 11 than Kenneth Grant at 11. I just think it's kind of early to draft Kenneth Grant. I do think Kenneth Grant's going to be a pretty good player, but I would take Mikel over Kenneth Grant, and then Oladejo over Collins. I don't know. I would keep him over those two players.
I'm kind of excited about Corey Kiner, the Cincinnati running back. Led the team in rushing this year with 1,153 yards. Averaged almost 7 yards a carry this year, 6.9 a carry. Led them in rushing the last 2 years. Was at LSU, transferred, 5'10", 209, 4.57 speed, but good running back. Pretty powerful running back. That's an interesting UDFA right there. The first one, Corey Kiner. All right, let's see. We have another super here as well. We got this one from Barry Ford. What's the plan to get a kicker? Is that a need? I think Shanahan and Lynch pretty much said they're going with Jake Moody, and then they're going to bring in a veteran kicker probably in the next week, maybe in the next couple of days to compete. Nick Folk's out there, somebody like that. I think that could be in the offing. And I think it's going to be a legitimate competition. Whoever wins, it's going to have the job. MSQ says, LOL, I watched film from the gameplay and ratings from CF College Football 2025. Okay. We got this one from Jackson. Jed's tweets made it seem like the only people that had influence in this year's draft was him and Saleh. There you go. MSQ. I by the way, at this point I've seen enough of those phone calls. Hey, how you doing? Congratulate. Hey, where are you? You celebrating with your family? All right. Hey, we're gonna get you out here. You fired up to be a Niner? We're fired up to have you, bud. All right, I'm gonna give you over to blah blah blah.
You know the script.
Yeah, I could literally jump in there. Hey, how you doing?
My favorite thing is that the players are always way too excited and they call everyone coach. It's like, here's the general manager. Hey coach. Hey, here's
coach,
the owner.
here's the
hey
owner.
Coach. Like,
here's
like
my Aunt Betsy. Hey coach. Yeah. Those are great moments though. B Kirsch 20. Thanks for the grind, Larry. Not a bad draft, in my opinion. Hope they find another Evan Anderson UDFA type. Figured they'd add more O linemen though. Yeah, no, I'm hoping for Willie Lampkin and Marcus Ware after the draft. Those are my two interior guys that I really like. Thank you, sir. We did grind during the draft, and Kev's been a big part of that. Zeroke each one. Zeroke each one. What does this mean for Cowing? Just show up and be ready to go. He's got when you're a draft choice, you're on scholarship. Nobody says it, but you are. You got a year to kind of prove they're not going to cut you. They'll put you on the practice squad. They'll figure something out. After 1 year, you're no longer on scholarship. So now he's got to come in. He's going to compete. And if
49ers are signing offensive guard Drew Moss, Colorado State.
Okay. I can look him up. Jalen LeGrant, Larry, they got my boy Curtis Rourke, Big Ben 2.0. Well, that'd be nice. Hall of Famer. Mason Davis, Conyers UDFA incoming. That would be awesome. You'll see me get very, very excited if they get Conyers. I think Conyers could be the replacement for Kittle, when Kittle's done. I think he's that good. I think Conyers is a big-time player. 260 pounds. He moves well. Yeah, he would be nice. Kev, we're probably at the end of our live stream here. We got through the 7th round. The Niners have added a couple offensive players. What was the guy you said just now?
It was
guard
Drew Moss, guard, Colorado State.
Let's tell people about Drew Moss. We can do that before we get out of here. Let's see. Drew Moss. This is all Brugler's. Let's see if I can find him here.
Kiner's going to be a good pickup for them. I think he actually is there's some value in that for sure. I don't know anything about Drew Moss, but I do like Kiner.
Yeah, Corey Kiner should be a solid back. Drew Moss might be rated higher than Connor Colby if he's a guard. Let's see. Going up now. He's rated lower. Is he for sure a guard or is he a tackle?
Says guard.
Yeah, no, so he must be lowly rated. Let me see on the bottom.
Colorado State wasn't really known for their offensive line play, so you can't.
Yeah, I mean it's and some of these guys are, highly coveted, and some of these guys are not. Let's see. Let's see where he's on this list. Drew Moss. Wow. He's way down this list. Yeah, don't even.
I think our plan is to do another stream later, going through a lot of these UDFAs and just reviewing the class. I know I have to do a lot of social media posts, and we need to get our notes together. But we will probably, John Lynch is speaking right now, I think, with Kyle. We'll review that, and then I think we're going to do a comprehensive review tonight.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, we'll do a full breakdown tonight of everybody they got, including some of the UDFAs. So we'll hit all that. Thanks to all you guys. Thanks to everybody with the super chats. Thanks to our sponsors. If you could hit like and subscribe on your way out the door, we would really appreciate that. Thanks to Kev for all the hard work. And we'll be back later on tonight with another look at the draft in its entirety. For Kev, I'm Larry. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you ask.